Welcome to my channel Science to Technology. Hopefully the audio and video streams are working, and if that is so, please write yes AV so I can get confirmation, or click the 100% symbol so I'll get a feedback that it is working. I'm waiting for incognito window to give me a feedback. 20-second lag. Okay. Working, and if that is so, please write yes AV so I can get confirmation or click the 100% symbol. So okay. Okay, so as of now, I do assume that audio and video is working and that you guys can actually see me. Okay, 100%. Okay, cool. Everything is nice, everything is good. Okay, so let me provide you guys with, okay, all things are working, stream and everything is working. Okay, cool. Yeah, so allow me to provide some context. Is that last trip to my hospital was for basically steroid injection into that swollen area between the discs. That did work. It did narrow down the problem, but it did not eradicate it. So I have to go into what we call discectomy. Basically, the part that is bulging out, that will be chopped off. So hopefully I'll get that done next week, and I will be traveling. Not next week, as in like after Monday, but you guys can get a full video from Monday to Friday. Although after that, I do not know when I will be back. So there is a problem with that. But other than that, almost everything should work. And it's gonna be a long while before I get back to full health, because again, this time it will be a surgery, not just an injection, it will be a surgery. So things could be hectic, so to say. But again, this is one of those things that I have to solve, because again, this half crippled state is not acceptable. I'm neither fully healthy nor fully sick, so it's like really inefficient in terms of my time usage. I'm getting tired making videos alone, and like in my normal days, I was able to make 2 videos per day, and that's how I used to have my holidays. Basically, I used to double work for a week, and then had content ready for 1 week plus extra week, and then I just used to take break in that 1 week. I no longer can do that anymore. So it is something serious. I have to take care of it. So I do apologize for that, but such is life. Some things do take higher priority. Basically, not being in pain 24/7, it's a much higher priority. And I made some small progress. Basically, I bought a boatload of these things. Basically, USB-C, male USB-C jack, not female. Basically, female comes like this. I bought male ones, and again with the casing and all that. Happy Holi to you all guys also, and I hope you had a very amazing, basically festival. You enjoyed good food. I liked good food and had fun with it. So this I just bought because again I have a lot of dead mouses. I was like consuming 1 mouse a year, so I realized a lot of mouse actually have a very useful cable nowadays, because again all the new mobile phones are coming with USB-C to C, all the chargers are coming with USB-C to C. Problem is a lot of charger I have in my house, they are USB-A. Now, if you look into your mouse collection, dead mouse collection, the cables are generally fine. Rarely cable would be the bricked part. So I decided that what if I converted this cable into a normal charging cable. So, and again, it will not have fast charging. I don't even think it will have data, even though on principle it should work. I did try it once. Basically, this is one of my old mouse, and I did added the port to it, as you can see, hopefully. Yeah, it does work, as in it does charge the phone, and phone does not throw up that error where it's like, you know, damaged cable or port, clean up the system. So it does work, that's the good part. But it's not doing data, even though the wires are there. I do not know, did I mess up the soldering job? I do not know why, but it's not working. But again, that was not the priority. I have a lot of old charging bricks, and I do want to have, like, you know, everywhere just laying these sort of, because again this cable is far slimmer than any other things. I just come up with this idea because my dad was using a charger, and again because no new phone, even though we bought I think 2-3 new phones, none of them have chargers. So he was using USB to this micro USB-C, and it bricked. So I was like, okay. And again, cables are expensive, especially if you want to buy a long one, USB-A to C, and again it's a very temporary thing. So I was like, okay, I have a lot of e-waste known as mouse, and again I did realize I can open them up, because again I was trying to service the button here. So That's why that's a very good use of having. I have three dead mouses. I have already tested the concept with one. I'm already have this ready. And again, most of the time the cables would be not even soldered. They will have a plug socket, so it would be super easy to take it out. And with minor soldering, you can actually make it useful. And again, slim, long USB-C to USB-A cable are expensive, like so expensive. And again, I have three mouse that are dead, so I can harvest their components, make something useful out of it. So that would be a very wise use of e-waste, so to say. So I'm looking forward to maybe trying that. Oops. Yeah. So this is how I'm basically utilizing my spare time, so to say. A very little spare time nowadays, but a very good use of this system. Some interesting videos are coming to next week, specifically focusing on round trip efficiency. So you have to understand that round trip efficiency is a very independent topic and very complex topic. It applies to almost everything. It does not matter whether you're talking about lithium titanate battery, it does not matter whether you're talking about lithium ion batteries, as in like lithium iron phosphate batteries, or something else, or even hydrogen, or even ethanol, or bio whatever have you, or Sabatier process of converting solar power into, you know, methane and all that. Whatever you're talking about, you have to talk about a round trip efficiency. So round trip efficiency is such an important thing that I do have to talk about it. And while I did have tried to cover it, this time I'm making a dedicated video for you guys where I'm specifically specifying what the hell that means. Like, why do you have losses? Like, what are the core sources of losses? Like, there are a lot of loss. For example, why capacitors in short term duration generally have better round trip efficiency compared to batteries? Because if you buy a high quality supercapacitor, you can easily achieve 94% to 98% round trip efficiency for sure. Meaning, if you are dumping 100 unit of electricity into this box, you can get almost 95 out without any issue. 96, 97, bit of a inconvenience, but as in like you have to buy the not the cheapest one, but you can do that. But why can't you do that with a battery? Because again, the batteries when they started in 1990, they were barely 80% efficient. Now the high quality batteries that we have, it's around 90 to 94%, or sometimes they touch 95%. So why is that? Well, again, that's what I will explain in the video, is that whenever you're talking about losses, you have to understand there are laws that are affecting it. For example, why capacitor does not have 100% round trip efficiency even though it has no conversion losses? Well, it has ohmic losses, meaning it's not a superconductor, so fundamentally it will have loss. So that resistance is the reason where you're losing that small amount of current. And what about batteries? Batteries are losing because again, it's not a thermodynamic process, but it is an electrochemical process. So fundamentally it does have certain electron valence that it has to push through, like certain what you call energy level it has to exceed in order to do its job. So that creates the issue. And on top of that, you also have to realize that you will not be allowed to basically charge the battery to 100%, discharge to 0%. 0% discharging is not allowed. Most chemistry will not do, and even charging, most car will not allow you to charge to 100% because they do want to keep some reserve for basically if you apply regenerative braking. Because again, if battery is fully full, like 100% full, you can't do regeneration braking unless they add a resistive heater or something like that. So for that reason, you have to have some space, and also it improves the lifespan of the pack. So that's why. And again, bottom part is also limited. So realistically, you're not gonna get, if you put 100 unit in, you're not gonna get 100. How many types of battery chemically? Lot of them. Like everything you can think of is there. Everything. Basically, you have lithium iron phosphate, which is a very lovely chemistry. It does have lower power compared to nickel manganese cobalt or nickel manganese aluminum, those sort of systems. But it does have basically highest energy density in manganese cobalt, but it is very basically sensitive, meaning if you puncture it, it catches on fire. You cause overheating and all that, it catches on fire. Lithium iron phosphate has almost no chance of adding to the fire. It can burn, but it will not add to the fire. It's not like sorry about that. It will not be like, okay, I'm the reason why things are burning. It won't act like that. It will be just like, okay, you had a fire, it's just burning that. And that part would be a very critical thing that we must understand, where the heck losses are happening on an electrochemical level. And that's why I specifically specified this whole system, because again, India is just launched the hydrogen trucks and all that. So many people will fall for this hydrogen thing, and I wanted to explain that. Even assuming magic, law of physics will not allow your hydrogen system to be as efficient or even half as efficient as a battery system. That's why I wanted to make this video, dedicated video. As a lightweight battery type, again, that's an incomplete statement. Lightweight against what? What is your comparison? And battery, again, that's why I made the last week's video about that battery system. It's not about the chemistry, it's about the packaging. Most packages are not good. So basically, how many grams of electrolyte you have versus how many liters of space you are consuming. Most batteries are barely 50% useful. 50%, basically 50% is dead space, basically casing, coolant and all that. That's why the BYD blade battery is such a unique thing, because again, they solved all the problem of lithium iron phosphate chemistry by utilizing good geometry. Basically, it's like, hey, we need a lot more electrolyte powder, that jelly roll as they say. We need more jelly roll in order to get the higher range. Okay, what if we reduce the penalty of having a lot of electrolyte? Okay, what if we made the cell larger? So that's how they solve that issue. And you have to figure that out. There is no statement as like a lightweight battery. It does not mean anything, because on paper even lead acid battery is super energy dense. It's just that by the time you package everything so it can handle the basically the actual acid inside it, yeah, it will be super heavy. So it is a very critical thing you must understand, like what is the packaging efficiency. Once you have like, let's say 70%, 80%, 90-ish%, then you can talk like, hey, do we what is the lightweight chemistry? We are not there yet. And that's why like many lithium ion is poorer than lithium, basically manganese cobalt package, which should be better, is worse than BYD's package. Why? Because BYD's packaging efficiency is so high. Hope best for your future, sir. I hope so too, because again, I really need to basically get healthy, so to say. Like there is a point where it's like, this is just not okay. It's not okay. I have to solve that. So that is something that I really have to take care of that. The more technology will progress, the more humans will become disconnected. That's nothing to do with technology. That has to do with laws. Today we were told in a study of future of family structure in my college, we noted that we broke the joint family into nuclear family, then from nuclear family to no family. Did teacher told you that? Because again, that's a very smart thing to say, but yeah. And again, yeah, Ankit Singh, it has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with bad laws. Basically, think in this way, we humans are not perfect creatures. This is one thing that religion does understand well. They do not treat you as perfect creatures. Basically, they know for a fact that you cannot make the best long-term decision all the time. So they remove the choices. Basically, you have to do this. Why? We know better than you, and by the time you do it, and again, how the heck they know, the people who are writing the religion? It's basically cultural time-tested data point. Basically, we tried 10,000 things. These things have the best result in long term, like at the end of life kind of long term. So you will find people who are like more liberal, more free, they will have a much happier young phase, versus people who are religious, they will have much calmer, much more relaxed, much more accepting older phase. Basically, they will not be very bitter if they followed their religion properly, because again, religion removes a lot of chaos of choice, where it's like, oh, what if this, what if that? Is like, no, you have to do this. Like they remove the options, and while it may seem barbaric, may seem very unintuitive, but it has a, basically there is a method to madness. And for that reason, certain laws were created. Like, you have to suffer. This is one thing that religion gets very right. All religion is that life is suffering, and you have to figure out a way to have what you call worthy suffering, basically. And this is why religion is so good, but why, what would be the best way of saying it? Why people say that you have to have some faith. Like, it does not matter which faith, you have to have it. And laws, basically in recent time, basically in case of India, 1984, and other countries, some similar that time frame, they decided no. It's like, no, women should not suffer. It's like, okay, now everybody will suffer. And again, instead of worthy suffering, you will have meaningless suffering. So now the worst word that you can use to destroy someone is teach them the word deserve. Once you teach them, they did. They did. And if you want to figure out which teachings, which methodology works or not, whatever line woman says, imagine what will happen if a man said that line. So yeah, and the fact of, although you have to understand, a joint family was a product of poverty. It was not a desirable thing, because again, it's not found in animal kingdom also. They have heard, but not joint family. Joint family was a penalty of like being poor. So Again, family unit, like, mom, dad, and like maybe one generation above, one generation below generation as in children, above as in grandfather and grandparent, that could work. But nuclear family is like the smallest unit. It cannot go below that. We forced it below that. Why? Well, we started giving money for breaking the family. So yeah, that was it. Literally, my Vibo EV scooter has TFT LCD with GPS Google Map, but no ICE scooter. Yeah, this is one thing you have to understand. What we call this part, all companies, like all flat out, are idiotically bad in terms of like what makes a vehicle actually useful. For example, right now, almost all cars, I'm talking a car as expensive as 10 lakh rupees, which is a lot of money. Like in Indian market, that's a lot of money. They do not even come with infotainment as a default. Like, no, you have to get the XL variant and this variant and that variant in order to get that. I'm like, what the hell? The alloy wheels are extra. Everything is freaking extra. It's like the engineers, the artists, they work their ass off. They designed a perfect vehicle. Then the marketing people or product manager comes in. It's like, what if we slice this vehicle in 6 segments and then we just like, try to maximize profit, and the outcome is garbage. It's just pure garbage. So, and again, this is one thing you have to understand. I can guarantee you there are more than enough smart people in all these companies that they are like, sir, we have to make better infotainment system rather than something that was made in 1990. But companies, because I have so much bureaucracy, nobody is hearing to that. And by the time they will actually hear, the guy would have been retired. And again, this is sort of what you call natural self-correction. So that's why this company is so huge. Like, I am not joking. That one of my friend was like, in future Disney will own everything because Disney is so big. I'm like, nothing is that big, will last forever. And again, look at it right now. The Disney market share, movies, they're like, oh, I bought this. No, all of them are failing. And again, even in AAA games, like there was a time everybody's like, oh, only EA will be like, everything has that problem. Basically, once bureaucracy becomes big enough, it inherently limits the growth. So that becomes basically what we call fertile ground for young upcoming comers, so to say. Gigi sir, you taught me value of perseverance. Thank you. That's a very good lesson to learn. What is the difference between torque from battery versus fuel bikes? Nothing. Torque is a measurement. Basically, what's the difference between 1 kilowatt of heat coming from an electric system versus 1 kilowatt of heat coming from a petrol system? Nothing. 1 kilowatt is 1 kilowatt. Again, you could say, battery does not have exhaust, but again, does not talk about anything about heat output. So, you have to say, if somebody says like 500 horsepower, that means 500 horsepower. Unless they are lying, there is no scenario where it's like 500 horsepower of electric would be different than 500 horsepower of a petrol system. Of course, battery may be the weak link. You could have a scenario where battery is not powerful enough where they can sustain it, and fuel can sustain. That's the one thing. Of course, it also has a penalty where it's like it will overheat. And there are only few car companies that actually, electric one, where they actually push the vehicle to the upper limit, like the red line, and they actually test, can it survive the red line. So, and again, that's true for, that's the difference between race cars and civilian cars. They could have the same engine, same backbone also, but for racing, they tune it such a way that it can stay at that peak loading. Generally, it simply means the radiator is generally much beefier, the water coolant pressure is much higher, so it does not boil off very quickly, and sometimes they may even have a very powerful fans. So those sort of things. What is Paris climate current status USA? Irrelevant. You have to understand, is the climate change will not be solved by people signing memorandums and all that. You have to solve it from economics point of view. And why people are not solving it from economics point of view? Because again, people do not have the education and wisdom to understand it. And education, I do not mean in terms of like graduation, PhD and all that. We have more than enough of that. It's just that round trip efficiency is not taught in schools, so people do not understand it. So if when people waste energy, and then it's like, okay, why everything is getting more expensive? Because you are wasting energy. We keep going round and round. Like that is one thing you have to understand very clearly. It's not a technology problem. Like we could solve global warming like this, and we did do. Like imagine how quick, not even imagine, like we actually did how quickly we solved the issue of ozone hole. Once we detected it, once we confirmed it, once we are damn sure this is why it's being caused, boom, all the basically what you call refrigerant was phased out. Now a lot of people complain that India got like the bad deal. I'm like, India really did not play the long-term game. Like we are really bad at long-term game. Basically, there was a when worldwide, like UN decided, like everybody has to come into that new generation of refrigerants. There were only 4 or 5 companies that knew how to make those refrigerant, and license were locked. So every country who had to sign, they had to buy from US companies and some European companies. So they had created the monopoly. Basically, India had to basically build a whole new infrastructure and buy their gas. And I'm like, that was not necessary. We could have rolled back. Basically, we went to hydrofluoric carbon. Basically, we could roll back to the older system. What was the older system? Hydrocarbon. We used to use that. Basically, right now, if you look into industrial cooling system, most of them are ammonia. And if you watched any of the retro TV show and all that, you see the refrigerators were running on ammonia. So it's one of those things where, if we had the wisdom where it's like, oh, we will follow with you, sir, but right now we are building our new refrigeration system, it's completely harmless. Yeah, it's using basically for high pressure system butane, or for low pressure system propane. That could have worked more than. And again, if you buy the small refrigerator ice maker, they are running on propane and butane. Look into a lot of refrigerators, especially industrial one, most of them are hydrocarbon. They do not have HFC or HFCFC or whatever the alteration we did on that. They're like, nope, bypass that. And the final refrigerant that people are working towards is CO2. I'm like, we did not need to pay. We could have been like, just smart, bro. We good, bro. Sir, we're gonna fix the ozone hole, but you have to buy it. No, sir, we're gonna fix the hole. No hole. Don't worry about it. Of course, we should have buy something to show. And then it's like, we have this. It's cheaper, better, more efficient. Yeah, it does have fire risk, but again, we use LPG cylinders in our household for cooking with fire. We good. We got this. We good. So that's one thing. Your interview was great, though audio was not up to the mark. Still great. Yes, audio. I was also very frustrated. I wished, because again it was recorded few days ago, not like weeks ago. So I wished he would have informed me that audio is not. We could have redone it again. But it is what it is. Whenever you are dealing with someone else, this sort of things do happen. Heck, it has happened with a few of the live stream where I have brought up a guest and they did not had a good internet and poop happened. So it's one of those things that it does happen. Do podcast with again, they have to invite me now. I cannot just, hey, like, bring me up into a podcast. That's not how it works. They have to invite me. He invited me, so I went. Have you seen the Lord of the Rings movie series? Yes. Like, my brother has, like, this is long ago, like he bought VCD of those movies. So yeah, Far Cry 3 was my favorite game, completed more than 5 times, lol, but now bored. Yeah, again, you also have to understand that your state changes. Like when I was young, Far Cry 5 was like, Far Cry 3 was like, whoa. If I play the same game, which I was like having fun, I will, Again, right now I'm debating, should I buy Doom Eternal or not? Again, it's not very old, and again, I have not actually bought any game that will push the graphics of my computer. So I'm like thinking about buying that, and it's on sale right now, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Does your state have any nuclear power plants? Not sure. I don't think so. If geopolitics is cricket, then it's not 12 slash H2. It's H2OH2 in water. Hey. Okay. I don't care. Just buy it from somewhere. Who you're talking to? Who you're talking about? Do not know. Okay. What do you think about China's 2D processor breakthrough? Again, 99% of China's things is like, blank statement. Like they claim everything, every 5 minutes is like, oh, we have breakthrough in this. Oh, we had breakthrough in this every 5 minutes. It's like, don't focus too much on it. Like, suppose filters. If you were supposed to filter out GG people engineering from engineering college, what method would you use? No, it's not. It's not after they have done the engineering. It's before. Basically, the easiest thing India could do to improve the quality of our education is basically have all the qualification exam only. You can get 2 tries. That's it. Done. Only 2 tries. So if you are genius, you're gonna clear it in 1. If you are not, either you're gonna clean in 2nd or done. So that way, like, you will save so much money, and B, you will save time. Time is the one thing money cannot buy. Like, this idea is not healthy, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna grind for it like 5-6 years. Like, your youth is the most energetic state you're gonna be, like from let's say 15 years to 25 years. You cannot waste that for trying and, like, doing exam preparation and all that. Like, you will, again, I'm pretty sure I have talked about this in this channel also, where in that Delhi trip, recent Delhi trip, there was someone who's like a vehicle, what you call, a guy who was our taxi driver, and he was like he was also doing the same thing. He was like applying for exam again and again, and he finally broke up like I think 3 or 4 times, as in like 3 4 years, and he's like, okay, I started to drive taxi, and it's like, and so much money I made is like I should have started earlier. I would have been so much ahead in my life. Again, it takes time. It's like, again, one try I get it, two try I get it, three, four, five, six, no, no, like, because again, time does not come back, your youth vigor does not come back. So again, that would be the one bare minimum statement. So do you have any dream creating something big in life, or like ship or something big? Again, I'm working with engine company just for this exact reason, just for this exact reason. Like, again, I'm so disappointed in every company because none of them are working how this company is working. Edison Motors, they are series hybrid system, and again, what if like you bitch about it, and what if you are like, okay, what if I make it? So I'm like close, I'm getting close. Again, at the end of this year I will know how close I am, but things are working. Your dream collaboration, Joe Rogan. Something big. Can you make electric cycle from tortilla, like difficult to make? Hub motor versus torque is difficult to make. I'm not sure what you're trying to ask. Bura na mano Holi hai. Yes, Holi. I hope you all of guys had awesome fun. So yeah, played Doom great from removing Ray without their own boss music. Yeah. Make a video on rare earth materials and their uses like antimony. Okay. So saying subscriber count is not increasing of a long time. What is condition? Again, irrelevant. So if cricket when you stop okay, hydrogen in percentages, my mass is 20%, not 12. I don't think it's 20, 88%. Last time I checked, it's 88% oxygen mass, by mass. Let me be very clear, by mass, 88%, not 20. So it would be 18%. Again, it's around that point. Again, I just wanted to make sure that people are not saying 50-50, because again, it sounds like that. Like, you know, oh, you're like you, and on paper it does sound like that. You have H2O, so you have two hydrogen molecule bonded to one oxygen molecule. And again, we are not because again, we are just memorizing things. We are not inherently thinking, oh, wait a minute, oxygen atomic number is what, 6 or 8? It's huge compared to hydrogen, which is the tiniest molecule possible, atom possible. It's A1. So 1, 6, 1. It's like 2 versus 6. It's like still 6 is bigger. So it's like one giant ball and two tiny things. Of course, due to electrodynamic, the actual structure is a bit offset, but it's inherently like that in terms of mass. So that's why you have to understand the hydrogen, the amount of hydrogen available in water is not that high. You have to extract, basically you have to quote unquote destroy a lot like a lot of this, what you call, water. And again, that is why I made this video of where we were talking about this round trip efficiency, because you have to understand, when I'm talking about ohmic losses, it's very low, and if you do your part right, you can almost eliminate, almost, not zero, but almost. Electrochemical losses, again, there will be losses, but you can keep it low. But the moment you go into thermodynamic system, yeah, bye bye. That's why hydrogen systems are not efficient. You compare their round trip efficiency, because you are jumping such a big hoops, you will lose a majority of the energy just going from like electricity to hydrogen gas, and again you will lose whatever remaining from going from hydrogen to electricity in fuel cell. So fundamentally, that's why hydrogen does not work. And again, I have no idea why the heck history is not a mandatory part of engineering, or the worst case scenario is that these engineers know and they're like, hey, you are paying me. And again, I will also do the same thing, but I'm just like frustrated, like why government is not hiring any engineers directly. It's like it's like, again, if I'm making an engine, let's say Ahiravat makes an engine and somebody's like, I want a hydrogen variant of that. Will you pay for it? Yes. No problem. I don't care. It's like this part I wanted to make sure that you know, I keep repeating that people work for money, not for like ethics or something like that. So there's one there. Hydrogen. Suggest science movies. I do not know. In future, we hope to see Edison and Ahiravat Motor as partner. Again, the core focus is right now, again, we might have to travel to some expo to get dyno data and all that. reasonable cost, so to say. If we get that done properly, then it should reach a point where we have a BSFC data, and if BSFC data is good, then I will definitely look into it. Hydrogen round trip efficiency is less than 30%. Yeah, that's the whole point. So if you forgot round trip efficiency, then ammonia is the best hydrogen carrying fuel for the future. Besides the point that ammonia is toxic to human, it's like if a petrol, like if you have a petrol canister spills over, nothing bad will happen. Ammonia spills over, bad things will happen. And again, we used to use ammonia in the refrigerator. Leaks caused enough deaths, and people are like, yep, nope, let's just let it go. When Airavat engine testing will be conducted? Again, once it's done. Once it's done, so once we have again, we are not waiting for anything, we are just working at it, chipping away at it. Basically, we are machining some parts and putting things together, brick by brick we are moving together, because again, a lot of time was wasted just again that expo. If that expo was like our things, you have to understand in this way, metal foundry did not work as our expectation. Basically, we went to companies, it's like, hey, we want this casting. And they're like, okay, we're gonna cast it. They cast it, we took the cast, it's like, bro, it's warped. It does not have the dimensional accuracy where we can do and all that. So all of those things, yes, thank you for saying that ammonia is toxic. It's a basic thing. Ammonia has that diamond logo where it's like a ludicrously toxic. The casting, that's why we had to do lot of redo. That's wasted most of the time. And there are company in India that can make us like precise enough where it's like what you call tolerance. They can make high enough tolerance where we do not have to worry. They were like, yeah, you have to place a 10,000 order or something. Basically, they wanted like, hey, same machine, but you have to do a lot of jigging, like lot of effort has to be put in first batch. They are like, we're not gonna put it if you're only ordering like 5 or 6 pieces. So that created an issue. Basically, it's so bad, we might as well make a new workshop in Bangalore where it's like, okay, let's make everything ourselves. So that's why it's taking so long. My elder brother is getting married on 5 April, pray for him. Yeah, good luck. When I was testing, that's why the testing is not working. It's like, it was so painful. It's easier for us from now onwards. So it's like, just we're gonna have our own engine shop. Like, that's all the problematic part. Again, those who have actually visited us in the Delhi Expo, we talked about the same thing. Even though we have everything, it's like, okay, let's just make another one. It's like, yeah, that will take so long again. So methane also looks good for fuel. Again, if you are taking methane as a biogas, basically from our poop, from our rotten food stocks and all that, GG. Very good fuel. It's a carbon neutral, because again, once you burn it, all the carbon dioxide would be consumed by plant matter, and again the cycle will repeat. It's basically solar power, solar chemical power. That's what it is. So it's a very good thing. Awesome. I like that. But if you are like, okay, for some reason, way too many YouTubers are saying this. Is like, oh, we can make methane out of like solar panels. All that is like, yeah, on paper. Reality, you cannot make it. Like, again, you can make it as in like make it in a lab. It's just that you cannot make it cost effective to compete. Like, that's why India buys methane. We have enough land area, we have sea, so we have low temperature thermal desalination to give you all the water you need. So we have the water, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, water and all that is like, tada. It's like, yeah, it works. It's just that let's say 1 ton of methane would be like $3 in normal scenario, LNG based. It will be like $50 when you are doing this Sabotier reaction. I think that's what it's called. What is the core of the Ahiravat division of aerospace division? Is it making engines? Yes, drone engines. Basically, we are focusing on 2-stroke drone engines for Indian Air Force and all that. There's a lot of companies in Bangalore who are making drones in India. Lot of them. Like, I can pick up a phone, 5-6 company, boom, done, take it and go. Engine, zero. Engine is just zero. It's just like, nope. There is no, like, all the engines are either Chinese or German. So that's the thing we are changing. And again, Ahiravat is a very big gamble, because you have to understand, there are a lot of EV companies, 100 to 500 are opened every few months. So that's not the big part. Engine, there used to be hundreds of them. Now there are only 5-6 major one and few smaller ones. Basically, major one is like Toyota, Hyundai, Honda, and Fiat, Cummins, Scania. Like, these sort of few big companies are there. Ford, BMW. So all these things are there, but almost everything else is just like poof, gone. Why? Because emission, they could not meet emissions. And again, that's why we are so interested in this Ahiravat system, because there is a probability we could meet all the emission without catalytic converter, without exhaust gas recirculation. Why? Because of the motion system, we have the luxury of achieving constant volume combustion. If you do that, NOx emission goes away, almost poof, gone, done. So that's why there's a very good chance. Even if a wife is held accountable for husband's death who is working in government job, she is still eligible for pension. Yeah. Again, that's the whole point. Again, family unit is not destroyed by technology, it's destroyed by bad laws. Basically, that's the whole thing you have to understand. If you want to rot someone, you want to permanently destroy them, you make them a victim. Because once you become victim, you lose control and authority. While it looks good in terms of like feeling, was like, oh, I'm so pressed, that's why I'm not succeeding in life. It's like, bro, more than enough people have, you mean NOx emission will be zero? Almost zero. Almost. Like, again, absolute zero is not achievable, but we should be able to reach almost zero, almost so low that is like our emission standard should meet Euro 6, BS 6 and 7 and all that without catalytic converter. Although, let that be very clear, the first engine I do not expect to be that good. And again, according to David, most of the, I do not know, man, what is my average skiing time. I do not keep chart of it. Sometimes I get like, you have watched 4 hours extra this week, 2 hours less this week. I'm not keeping a tab on it. So that's why I cannot tell you. Yeah, because he really wanted to make a 2-stroke diesel engine, which is a big one, and the core benefit of that is he can achieve axial flow. Basically, almost like a jet engine, air will be in continuous motion. So achieving that, we can achieve much higher efficiency and almost negligible emission. So that's why we are working on that. Again, that's the whole point of trying to make a new engine company. And compared to all other new engine companies, like there is this one company that is claiming 1-stroke, which is not 1-stroke, it's a 2-stroke system. Look at the whole system, it's a freaking 2-stroke system. They're just like, for marketing, they're calling it 1-stroke. Again, I would also do that. Again, even our own company did that. We made 4-stroke, even though we could have made 2-stroke and we could have gotten the emission benefit and all that. So that's on us. And again, that's why we are working with aerospace system, because their emission does not matter that badly. So we have far more leeway. One survey showed 40% of Gen Z not interested in marriage after all service cash. Again, see, interested in all that does not matter, because once your family starts to force you, you will fail. Like men do not grow up in a scenario where we know how to handle attacks from your own parents. That's not our evolved structure. And again, some people will say things like, oh, maybe they know better. No, they don't. The law has changed. Again, if you pay someone money to avoid suffering, everyone will do it. It's like it takes a certain level of courage, certain level of wisdom to know that every time person does this thing where it's like, okay, for money I'm gonna avoid suffering, they suffer far more in the long run. Like, this is one thing that religion got right. Like, it's like, it's the same thing. Like, short-term gratification is very dangerous. Like, it's the worst drug you can have. So that's one thing. You can open an activity tab. Again, why does it matter to you? So GG for taking risks are a great thing I learned from experience. Yeah. Again, say risk and reward are mirror to each other. Basically, higher the risk, higher the reward. I cannot expect to, like, okay, if I do everything play everything safe, I cannot expect to have any money in the future. Realistically, let's be real about this. But again, if I'm taking risk, then there is some probability. Can I guarantee it? Heck no. But what is the probability if I had not taken risk? Well, zero. So I'm trying to do anything that is above zero. Please give me your thoughts. 8-year-old Passion Pro bike. Now I want to upgrade. Should I go for EV or stick with petrol? Like daily, I drove 40 to 50. If you're driving that much daily, yeah. Again, what are you doing that you are driving that much? And again, it was like, again, there could be a YouTube bot or something like that. Although only one person has message redacted. So I do not know why you can. Ankit Kumar, okay. Yeah, Ankit Kumar, na? No, Ankit Singh, okay. What are you commenting? Jeff comment was also retracted. Again, I'm not actively doing it. Okay. Where was I? I forgot. Where was I? Heck, I forgot. What the heck? Damn, I forgot. Okay, yeah, so that's the whole point. If you are actually traveling that long, you will benefit a lot from using electric in terms of money, but I do not expect your vehicle to last many years. That's the problem. You can easily have good savings 1 to 2 years, but because you are using that much regularly, you will find the battery to become very weak very early. So that's the reason why I'm not so comfortable suggesting that, unless you look into a company that has something that where you can swap the battery, or like they have a proper policy of what the hell they're going to do when the battery becomes weak enough and what's the cost of it. Unless such things exist, I would not suggest looking into EV bikes yet. Again, battery is the weak link. You will have a lot of money saving, but again, uh, you may end up paying 2 times more just because of the battery replacement. Why comments getting retracted? What person can accomplish starting at 23 years? A lot. Like, see, the accomplishment is only limited by your guts, so to say. You try more things you try, the more things either succeed or more they fail. If they fail, they teach you. If they succeed, they succeed. So there is no limitation on that. Ultraviolet is launching new bike and scooter. Yeah, every company is trying. This is one thing. It's quite reasonable price of. Why don't you also buy A7C Mark II? It's quite reasonably priced and performance. It could work for me. It's very close to working for me. But again, I do not want to do what I did with my DSLR. Again, for my DSLR, I'm more than happy what it did when I bought it like 7 years ago. I'm very happy with that. But like now, I do not want to buy a element that is like, it's a cost cut down. Let that be very clear. It's a cost cut down camera from Sony's own point of view, where it's like, this is the bare minimum we can do. And there are like a lot of small subtle things. Again, for my brother, it's more than not even an issue. For me, again, most of the time it won't be issue, but that one time it will be an issue, I will be stuck. So that's why I'm looking for A7 Mark V. I'm waiting for it. In EV, 70% of the price of the battery, so battery replacement is just like buying a new bike. Yeah, that's also a fair point. Mac Mini M4 comparison to MacBook Air, and I'm not the right person for MacBook comparisons and all that. I'm not the right person for that. Yeah. Like the few things that you can definitely do by the time you are 23, especially if you have a job, start taking care of your money, as in start cataloging how you are spending your money, everything in detail. Nowadays it's super easy to do. Let's say you are using GPay, Google Pay. Again, I used to use Bheem, but then I realized Bheem has the problem of deleting all the notes I put into it. While if I use Google Map, all the remark I write into it, basically when I'm paying for something, okay, I pay and I write down like Maggie, 120 rupees Maggie, and then paneer roll, 150 rupees, I write that down. So at the end of basically a month, again, this time I could not do it because again, my credit card server from Bank of India was down. Again, not my down, the whole Bank of India credit card server that was feeding data to the app was down. Card was working, but the app was down. Again, it went down again today. But today I made a promise I have to do it because again, at the end of this March, this year would be over, that financial year would be over, and my CA will call me. It's like, bro, give data now so we can plan your what you call income tax filing. So that's the bare minimum that I would expect anyone to do. It's like start cataloging the money. And most banks will give you either PDF or if you're lucky, again, I switched my bank just because of that. I was not happy with the PDF I was getting from this federal bank, because again, in the old days, PDFs were convertible. I was able to convert it into text where I could select it and drop it into Google Sheet and have everything. Then they changed it. I had to manually convert every time, or I have to use some shady app company where it's like AI based and all that. And again, there was some errors in that, so I was like, So I switched to bank. Thankfully, Bank of India, bank where my father used to work, it had CSV output. Even my brother's bank, ICSC bank also has CSV output. I went to ICSC. They're like, nah, you have to pay 5 to 6 lakhs to open an account. I have no idea why, but most likely it was because head branch. That's why they were talking like that. But again, it is what it is. So I went into. Wait, paneer roll is 150. It's too expensive. Yeah, it is. You know. Fundamentally, you can use a bank. Most banks do have this option where you can get CSV output. Some banks give you Excel output directly. So having those things allows you to track everything quite well. And again, you do not have to pirate a software or do anything like that. Just Google's sheet, everything is fine, everything is dandy. And then I just like put all the data, put basically a drop down menu. I have made this system where I have drop down between for all the expenditure, and there I have a breakdown of it. Basically, in my drop down, I have three sections. You have expenditure, earnings, and miscellaneous. Basically, if money is returned, I put it in miscellaneous. If I'm investing the money, putting it in miscellaneous. Then I have food, health, travel, those sort of thing. And on the other side, basically, each drop down I select it. Based on the drop down selected, it automatically populates one column. So each column I can just like at the end of the year click the column how much I spent on food, click the column how much I spent on petrol, click the column, I get all the data. So this year I'm doing that. This financial year I did that method, and from April I might try to do even better system where I'm like far more refined, far more system where I can like boom. You can easily do that when you are 23. Like you can start tracking money quite effectively. Even if you are not earning, you are a student, again, you must be spending some money, you must be figuring out like money a lot. So that's why paneer is not real nowadays. So for your solar pump panel cleaning, I have suggestion which I have done with in my system by making T connection at mouth of submergible pump in water tank. I no, my pump does not create enough pressure, and again, it's almost 3 stories up. No, one, two, 2.5 stories up, so it does not have enough pressure. It's like it's not good enough. So it's not that. Again, I use that wiper that I bought last week. It does work. Not great, but does work. And again, this is another part. That's why I really have to get my spine fixed. It's like it felt heavy. It's like it's not heavy, that heavy. It's just that I become. How much taco at your place? Again, it's not my place. It's normal Domino's veg taco. Nothing fancy. Please, everybody, like this live stream, how to trigger modern feminism, no deal. You cook for yourself? Yes, sometimes I do. When I'm alone, I do cook for myself. Ever heard of Mitra movement is now starting to grow in India slowly, millimeter by millimeter? Yeah, I used to 6-7 years ago. Like that's like my old self. Again, you have to understand, like you grow, you evolve, and again, even if there is a lot of amazing teachings, you need to get bitch slapped by life few times to truly absorb it. Basically, again, I should have, like when I started like 6 years ago, it took 2 years to start making money. I could have filed what you call income tax return that time. It would have been so much easier. I could have figured it out. I should have done all the what you call the cataloging, the money, what you call budgeting. Yeah, not budgeting. Budgeting is in for future. I do not know what you call auditing. I think auditing the system. But again, there I durust hai. Like even if you do something later, it's better to do it. It's no perfect saying for this. The best time to plant a tree is 30 years ago. Next best is now. So I'm happy with that. Again, I could have done investment, I could have done this, but again, that list never ends, and that should never end, because you have to understand, the moment you reach a point where it's like, yeah, I could not have, that means you have stopped growing. So I had to come with a piece of that where it's like, yeah, I should reach a point where it's like Anupam Vipul of 32 years old looks at Anupam Vipul of 22 years old and is like, that was an idiot. And again, I expect the same thing where Anupam Vipul of Anupam Vipul of 42 years old looking back at this Anupam Vipul is like, this guy is an idiot. But again, it does take certain level of maturity where you can absorb this sort of life lessons. Suraj Kumar, your comment was deleted. I think you were writing something very huge. Is more heat efficient affects the solar panel? Of course, look at the back of the solar panel. It will say all the rating that you see, it's rated on 25 degrees Celsius. That's not real. So in India, and again, lot of the, like I have Wari solar panels, they have a graph where I can see what will the energy output of like 50 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees Celsius, 50, 75, that's how it is. So I have to calculate based on 75 degrees Celsius. So that's there. Mobile phone versus DSLR camera, please make a video and explain this right here. I have already done that. And again, it's not a competition. One gives you ultimate flexibility and flexibility, and DSLR are already outdated. So, but again, if you need it, and again, if you are getting paid for it, nobody's gonna pay you if you show up to a wedding with a mobile. So there is an aspect of that also. Kindly could you explain the Ahirawat project? Ahirawat project is basically a company that we have made. Its job is to basically take CV Global, that is another company. There's patent, there's technology, that is CV motion, that rotating system design. Again, a lot of video available. I will link the video, sorry, I will link the channel down below so you can see all of that. So basically Ron is the inventor who came up with the idea. They made a company known as CV Global. Basically a lot of people got together, poured money into it and got patents and all that done. And what we are doing right now is basically taking that patent to real life. That's what we showed in the Delhi Expo, where we had like the physical hardware, like this is what we're gonna make. And that's the same thing we are working on right now. Like we have the 2-cylinder engine, 176cc, some weird number. It's a weird number. Don't ask me why it's weird. The 1-liter engine we are working, that's a very clear number. It's like 250cc each cylinder. But again, the smaller one has weird number like that. And once we have that, once we have tested that, we will figure out what is the BSSV value, brake specific fuel consumption. Once we know that, we'll know whether the idea is good on paper or idea is good in real life. And again, there is another variable, so whatever the mechanism itself, basically the machining was not up to the mark. So there's a lot of variable. So Ahirawat is doing that whole thing where we are like, okay, let's try to bring it into reality. And it's a big deal because you have to understand, look into how many engine manufacturers are there. It's like, you will be shocked how few there are. Like I can tell you, like almost you can count in both hands all the engines are available, like quality ones. So that's a very big thing. MGTOW is a decentralized movement, so personalities like job editors cannot hijack it. All they can do is they're like pathetic mice and all that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So I write like this and directly write it, YouTube deletes it. Okay. Yeah, YouTube could be censoring it. A lot of things YouTube does do that, so you have to be mindful with that. Although it could change with time, because Trump is working on a system where it's like, you know, you can't be this sort of woke and all that. So there may be a chance it may be revert. I do not know, but it could happen. So I have an important video on a pen drive and buying, playing but not properly, like scratch DVD. Is it repairable? There are certain video repairing application, but if the actual data is corrupted, not much gonna happen. And that's why the backup is never supposed to be one thing. It's supposed to be 3 to 1. You are supposed to have 3 copies of data, 2 different medium, 1 off-site location. For this exact reason, data gets corrupted. It's called bit rot. So what you are experiencing is what we call bit rot. Can you repair it? If lucky, but chances are low. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be very, very mindful of that. Can you explain why we don't use turbo propeller jet engine like commercial planes, just like a military cargo plane? There are military planes that do that. See, each will give you certain pros and certain cons, and you have to understand military systems are designed for different kind of use case scenario, meaning they have to land on rough runways, untreated runways, or like just flattened patch of soil. So they have different requirement, while a commercial jet is designed for optimized mileage. Everything else is secondary. One thing is it must have good mileage. Everything else is secondary. So again, they design it differently. No, actually I'm deleted my comment because I was very mean. So it's one of those things. So cargo plane, military, they have a different specs requirement compared to a cargo plane that is like, and again, jet engine is very refined, very efficient, where like going to propeller does not give you that much more advantage. So people are like, yeah, might as well use this. And because it keeps going more and more, what you call refinement, it's like that. Can you elaborate a little more on Airawat engine? Again, I have a whole video, and it's an engine, my man. Anywhere you are using an engine, you can use Airawat's engine or CV motion engines. So it's like, it's an engine replacement. We are not changing like, okay, we are making a new engine for ship. No, we are making a new engine type. It's like how we have a piston engine and diesel engine. So basically we want to remove the piston engine and replace it with our AV engine, Airawat engine. Sir, kindly name the software I can use to repair it. I do not know, my man. I have bought M-Disk now and wanted to transfer it. Yeah, a bit late. That's again, do understand it. That's why we have to back up the system. Again, Google it now. You should find a lot of them. I have never experienced it, like, and if my video gets like corrupted, like a lot of my YouTube video, I download from YouTube itself. And again, that's why I was working on NAS system to make my own NAS. And again, that's why I was using free NAS. Sorry, true NAS, so I can take care of that part where it's like, you know, it can correct for bit rot. If bit rot did not happen at the same time at the both hard drive, it should use one to correct the other. Again, a slightly little more Ahirawat engine. Again, it's a completely different mechanism. And again, that's why the Delhi Expo happened. I have a dedicated YouTube video. And again, more videos will come. And again, I will link the channel. Don't worry about it. Oh, hold on. I'll try to link you guys right now. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing you guys the channel. Hold on. Okay, so this is the channel link. It should work for you guys. And again, you can see I have done 2 interviews so far. I have done one interview with Ron, who is the inventor. I have another interview with David, who had done that. And there is our expo video, what we had actually in the expo. Me talking, we have Brian talking, who is the president of the company. And then we have animation showing how the actual mechanism works. So all of that is there. And all the updates that is regarding CV engine itself and Ahirawat will go there only directly. I will not put it on my channel unless there is some specific requirement. So that's there. Mahindra's new EV car can completely compete with China's EV in Europe and North America. Hope so. So will Ahirawat work from small machines to have it? It's not what you call an engine itself, like this engine. It's not like that. It's a mechanism. So same way you have a jet engine for a small jet engine, big jet engine, very big jet engine, the same thing we are doing. We are changing the mechanism. Basically, instead of going like this, we have a different mechanism. That mechanism has certain advantages. And again, if we can harness that advantage and it's really good as we are hoping and expecting, if it's really that good, it's going to be magnificently better. Like not a little bit better. That's the whole thing. That's why we are working. It's not, oh, just 1%, 5%. No. It's multiple times better. Basically, best engine you can get right now will give you 200, around that kind of brake specific fuel consumption. We should be able to drop that 200 to 150 in 4-stroke, and at 2-stroke we should be able to drop it even further. There is nothing, like to give you a context of that, the best engine in terms of this regard, like brake specific fuel consumption, it's what runs on what we call bunker fuel. That puppy is like basically crude oil, almost like crude oil used for container ships. Those puppies have like 2-stroke engine, 30 megawatt capacity, as in like horsepower is too small for that. So 30 megawatt capacity, and that has almost 150 gram per unit kilowatt hour. So if we can hit that for something like a car, that's magnificent. That's not a little bit better. That's like magnificent. So that's why we are working on that. Thanks, Arma. By the way, if this revolution needs a website, make it accessible. It has a website, but again, I am very uncomfortable recommending that, because again, at the early days, the owner just put a lot of AI hallucination there. I'm asking them to remove it. But again, right now, it's not my priority. My priority is A, getting my spine fixed. B, once we have the engine testing there, then we're gonna like really dive deep into it. I have downloaded those as an SD card if you ever wanted to call me. Again, it's not necessary. It's boring. It's boring to me. It's like somebody's like, oh, men like get destroyed. I go to court, man. Like I get 4K real D video of it. For me, it's boring. It's not a new thing for me. It's like, okay. By the way, I was just making it accessible. Your other video I have downloaded. Oh, okay. You are talking about that video. Sorry. I thought you're talking about his confession video and all that. And what will be the cost of the comparison other engine? More or less the same. Again, inherently, we are using almost the same part. Basically, instead of the core part, that is changed. Everything else, basically the cylinder, the piston head, everything is copy paste. Nothing changed. Basically, piston head is same. The piston, the sleeves, everything. The timing valve, intake, exhaust, spark plug, fuel injector, all of them are copy paste from each other. Basically, we are not changing all of those things. We are just changing how the mechanism works. And again, please go into the channel. You will get far better representation. And again, you will see that physical hardware with me behind it, and interview, animations, lot of things are there. So you'll learn a great deal of it. And again, if you have the patience and understand, because again, Ron is old, like 60 plus old, and David is really old, 80 plus old. So they do talk a bit differently. But again, you can get that. Please sit down. Why are you standing? Again, it's good for my leg. It hurts my ankles, but at least my hamstring does not hurt. That's why. Standing. That's why, like, fundamentally, we are not changing anything, so to say. Basically, if the company, there are companies who know how to make piston. We are like, okay, copy paste. Companies who know how to make a piston ring, sealing ring. we got this. Company know how to make piston sleeves, like cylinder sleeves, so to say. Again, if we go that route, we could even quote it. But again, if we want to go to that route of having sleeves, we can just buy it. The what you call stems, that valve stem, that can be copy paste everything. Only the inner part is the most what you call changed part, and we have to design everything, machine it ourselves. So I'm working on, like, it was such a problematic experience. We just like literally started to make our own workshop, where it's like, yeah, this is because again, companies are there in India that can manufacture it, but all of them have the same problem. It's like, dude, give us bulk order, only then we're gonna bother with it, otherwise we'll not. We should have been done like June last year. That's how long ago we should have been done. It's just that it took so long because again, the casting failed so many times. So that's the whole point. Again, this is my current second thing that I do other than this YouTube thing. It did help me travel and might get to travel more. Please tell me, Atlas Shrugged book. Is it similar to George Orwell book? No, it's a bit different. It's made by Ayn Rand, a woman, and she is doing it as a critique to communism, and it does have certain very good, what you call, in-depth essence to it. So, but it's too heavy for me to read. I have gone through the audiobooks, but then again, not even the whole audiobook. It's like 12 hours long. It's a huge book. But for this reason, it's a very, what you call, what I was saying, forgot about that. It has a movie, 3 movies they were made. Not that great representation, but does give you an idea. So you can watch that. Okay. Series hybrid bike with a CV engine, please make for me. No, you're not gonna be able to afford it. So we're not gonna make that. Right now, the main focus is testing. Once we have the testing, it will help to acquire all the funding required. After the funding, we're gonna focus on making either auto or motorbikes. And again, it will be cost, because if we make something like a super bike or something big like what Edison Motor is doing, the volume sale will be low. And again, because we are changing the whole damn equation, we do want a volume sale, basically where we have 10,000 unit, 50,000 unit, like almost 500 units per day kind of sale. So for that reason, we are not targeting like, very expensive things or something like that. And not even car, we are not even touching cars, because again, we'll burn more money into just regulation and crash testing and all that. So autos, bikes, things of that nature. And then we're gonna go basically how things evolve and refine. It should be done soon. So, by the way, do you remember me about a web development topic? I recommended one of the videos. So you need to a website we can work for STT to the revolutionary Rawat. Let's see. You are doing interesting. Of course, it's right now. It's a very, what you call. Imagine it this way. Imagine somebody talking about Bitcoin in 2010. People are like, what is talking about? Like right now, that's the exact thing. I do not know whether it will become big, but it could become big. Like the probability is there. That's why I'm going all in into it. Whereas like, I'm the CVO, Chief Visionary Officer. So my main job is communication of both parties to make sure that they do not blow each other up. So that's there. What addiction you have, knowledge and understanding more and more things? No, many. I have many problems. Like not one, many. Such is life. See, it's one of those things. What we call, what's the thing is called, our cross to bear. We all have it, like I have it. It's not something new. I will sell my kidney for that bike. Yeah, trust me, it's still more. Trust me when I say this. If you see like a car, right? Let's say cheap car, let's say Tata Nano, right? 1,50,000. Trust me, when they were making the first actual prototype and all that, that puppy would be expensive, like crore kind of expensive. So prototypes are always that kind of expensive. I'm just trying to learn FreeCAD, quite complex, but quite interesting too. Yeah, I wanted to try that, but again, it's like I realized I will waste more time trying to learn the damn thing rather than making the things. And Fusion 360 was good enough, and it does work. It's a very polished system, so I'm like, yeah, might as well just put up with it. And again, I'm used to working with Autodesk because again, my studio was using Max Maya, again Autodesk product, so that's there. Why you stop reading science fiction books? Again, I never read any science fiction books, so I did not stop it. I'm just reading self-help books because again, right now I need a lot of help. Life has been very like again, few months ago, like from a mid last year, as in 2024 to end of 2024, it was hell, like bad kind of, like from a spinal pain to like so many times I had to go back and forth. And again, I'm not even joking, the judges are trolling right now. They're just cutting time. Like there is no reason. This second case should also have been over by now, but it's not. And again, the high court case is also started, so it's just idling right now. So it wastes so much time. It's painful. So that's why I'm like, but Fusion 360 isn't free. It's free for students. It's free for students. That's why. Okay, guys, it's 1 hour time is up. So I'm gonna see you when. Basically, that is very clear. Next few weeks, I do not know when I will be able to come back, make videos. And again, there are certain things that are higher priority. Basically, my spine is higher priority than this channel. So be kind and relax, and I have more than enough video. And I do have a feeling that next week's video would be interesting, at least 2-3 of them. So lol. I wish fission reactors became small enough to drive big vehicles. Yeah, no. I think you fundamentally do not understand what it takes to stop neutron. Yeah, no. Anyway, I will see you guys, well, when I get the time. So wish me luck. Bye.